Welcome to part 6 of my abridged Xenonauts campaign. Last time we saw things begin to heat up. Charlie 2 took a dangerous mission in the Arctic and lost 2 squad members, in both cases under suspicious circumstances. Charlie 1 was more successful, doing an Arctic mission themselves and doing it without casualties despite only having a small squad. Then we had a disastrous mission for Charlie 2 where enemy Reapers just annihilated our shield bearers, apparently without any way of us being able to stop it, so we're going to have to keep an eye on them in the future. We had another mission going on at pretty much the same time as the one from the previous part, so here we've got Charlie 1 assaulting an industrial area somewhere in Western Africa. I discovered an alien near the landing zone. It takes some reaction fire at me but does nothing, and you can see there are 2 civilians standing between us and the alien, and they're going to come in quite useful because the alien just wants to kill those civilians for whatever reason. So now he's wasted his turn, giving us another chance to walk up to him, this time without risk of reaction fire because he will have been out of time units after taking all of those shots. We can't get close enough to guarantee a kill. Big Iron tries his new, even bigger iron, the laser shotgun, which doesn't really work physics-wise, I'm pretty sure, but anyway, it doesn't achieve anything, so as usual, we will switch over to using a traditional weapon with Betty Buckshot, and this time the target is down. Very good. Now I started to search these warehouses for more targets and ended up coming to the conclusion that they were both to our left and right. On our left is the alien UFO, and on our right we can hear gunshots going off outside, so something's going on out there. The civilians are fighting with the aliens. So I'm going to split my team in a slightly dangerous move. I'm going to have one team stay in the warehouse to protect against potentially rear flanking attacks, while another team goes out to look for the aliens fighting the civilians. I discovered, just by random accident, that there was an alien behind this door in the warehouse while just trying to find out what's over here and discover the terrain. I could have shot at him, but I'm going to run away in this case since it probably wouldn't have killed him. In the alien turn, we see the civilian get killed outside, so we know the alien is close by, and the alien in the warehouse runs forward. There's some completely ineffectual reaction fire there. Then he comes up and shoots Verfa now, missing 2 of the 3 shots he took, so that was pretty lucky. We know these guys are quite accurate, so at close range that could have been a guaranteed kill, but no, he somehow missed all those shots, and now we can turn the tables because Plasmagnet can sneak around behind the alien and use our new stun sticks on them. You can just whack them and that knocks them out, so now we've captured that alien. We've already captured a civilian type alien, and I don't know if there's any value in capturing more than one of each species. But anyway, it knocks it out of the battle, and that's what really matters. So yes, I am using my shield bearers as pure melee units now. They've got a sword and shield for all intents and purposes. Ray and Prey spots an alien outside the UFO and takes it down using some janky line of sight there. Pretty sure all the bullets went through the wall, so that's good. Now we'll continue the search for this other alien over here, and it's just behind this door as it turns out. We're going to nope out of this situation. We can't fire the machine gun since you can't really move the tool and fire it. And in fact, I'm going to abandon this room entirely to get out of that alien's line of sight, because it might open the door and spend lots of time units firing if it can easily see us. So we'll just hide from it. It means we can't necessarily see it either. But in the next turn, I came back in and discovered it had just moved slightly through the room. And now we can actually rear attack it using another stun stick move. And there we go, it goes right down. Only 1 hit this time. Very good stuff. Next, we moved over to position ourselves outside of the UFO. An alien inside does a little dance, another one comes over to take a shot, another nice questionable line of sight shot. Luckily no damage is done. Now he's stuck sort of outside the door-ish, or in the door, as it really appears, allowing us to take a shot, and there we go, we bring down that alien, but we already saw there's at least 1 more on the inside. I wanted to shoot the door now to open it up, but after getting line of sight on the door with Ray and Prey, I spotted another alien around that corner just next to our guys. I didn't want to fire because I thought the spread of the shots might end up hitting our own men, so instead we're going to do this stick style. Plasmagnet goes over and stuns it. Well done. to him. So he'll just run back into cover, and now I will be able to shoot the door as intended and take a look inside the UFO. There's an alien just inside the door who is suppressed by that shooting. That is good. No one else could really fire into the UFO to hit this guy, so I got lots of people to throw grenades. I threw 3 grenades into the general area of the door, hoping that between them all it would be enough to bring this guy down. There was one problem. Betty Buckshot's grenade didn't appear to go to the door. She threw it and there was just no animation, like the grenade didn't go anywhere, and I thought, well, what does that mean? And it turns out it means she dropped it for all intents and purposes. The grenade's at her feet and it goes off hitting her and Big Iron, somehow not doing very much damage. The grenades are very weak in this game compared to what you might expect them to do. So now we've got 2 wounds to deal with there. That's nice and annoying, isn't it? At least we've got med packs. We can heal these guys up pretty easily, and there's only 1 alien engaging us right now, so I wanted to just go and take it out so that we could have some time to work on getting ourselves back together after that mistake. And once again, it's going to be the stun stick action from Plasmagna. That's his 3rd kill or 3rd stun on this mission, isn't it? Very good stuff from him. Anyway, a bit later, we formed up in the UFO. An alien from the back room came over to investigate. That was good. Makes it much easier than having to go through that corridor to find him. The reaction fire takes it down, and that's the end of the mission. Plenty of wounds, loads of stat ups, and I actually forgot that Boehm Headshot was sitting in the helicopter the whole time. I didn't use him at all in that mission, so that was a bit stupid of me. After we got back, we do an autopsy on the Reapers from Charlie 2's previous mission, and it basically explains that they just inject things into people and turn them into Reapers via those weird larval stages, the zombies. It's one of those things where you'd expect the rule to be it has to be a zombie for 5 turns or something, and that is what allows a Reaper to grow. So if you kill it before then, it doesn't spawn a new Reaper. But instead, killing the zombie just spawns a new Reaper even in the same end turn sequence as the zombie was created. So the zombie stage seems a little bit superfluous to me. It feels like maybe it's a mistake or a glitch that that's even happening. But anyway, let's move on. I took down another alien scout down over Africa, so I'll send Charlie 1 to go take a look into that. And at the same time, there was a bigger craft, a Corvette, going over India. As my fighters caught up to it, it actually just landed, so this is a case where you don't need to bring it down, you can just send the team to attack the landed UFO, but it means there's 1 or 2 extra enemies there since you didn't kill them in the crash. But then on the flip side, you get more resources for completing missions since the craft's intact, so it's sort of good and bad. Charlie 2 reached the Corvette first, and I said yes, engage, but I've made a terrible mistake that you might have noticed, or like me, you might not have noticed. We're actually attacking in the middle of the night. It's because the world map at night doesn't really look particularly different to the world map during the day, so especially if you have the camera zoomed in and you can't see the contrast between the bits that are night and are day, it's very easy to forget that the current brightness of the map isn't the day brightness, and it wasn't always like that. So here we are, another forced night mission. I deploy out of the helicopter into these trees and near these rocks, and an alien appears on our left. It's some sort of, at first I thought, a swamp monster, like a 50s sci-fi thing. It looks like that famous thing from the original Star Trek series. So we need to try and face off against this guy. We don't have good cover, and because G-Mobile has been demobilized by his suppression, he's in trouble. I was able to get line of sight with Friend Fire, our new gunner, but he didn't get any hits, perhaps because we're firing at night. It looked like at that range we should have got at least 1 or 2 hits. I'm going to reposition my snipers down back near the chopper to try and get line of sight through this open area. The thing advances, and he's got a friend over there apparently. Then the camera looks over to our right, which made me think there is an alien over here somewhere, and that was a little clue. After that, we start taking burst fire from the north, from somewhere we can't see. That's inconvenient. G-Mobile panics because the situation's starting to look bad, and I think I agree with him here. We need to fight back immediately if we can, and since we can't see the majority of the opponents who are almost surrounding us, it's going to be a little bit difficult. At least we've got our snipers ready to start firing at that first target. McScope hits the alien thing twice, but it's not enough to kill it. This thing is very resistant to bullets because, as we'll learn in a second, it's actually a robot. This is what gave it away. When you kill it, it makes a sort of electronic sound and the sound of metal falling apart, so I was like, oh, it's supposed to be a robot. And they're probably meant to be engaged with the laser weapons, and these ballistic weapons do less damage. So that's just another reason why we're in trouble on this mission. The second robot on our left came in close, damaged friend fire, and then friend fire shot back and destroyed it. A drone comes down from the north and reveals that it was the thing shooting in burst fire. Or was it? More burst fire comes in, but it's the same animation, so that tells us there is another drone just out of our line of sight. To deal with this, I decided to split to the left and right to try and block line of sight to the north, but in doing so we discovered another alien. This must have been the one that was coming from our right that the game hinted at earlier. It's standing pretty close to us, so we really need to take it out now to avoid taking point blank range fire in the next turn, and luckily Pumpy Parker, by taking unaimed shots, can shoot twice, and that was enough to bring it down. Now then, we need to worry about that drone, which presumably is still there, and indeed, a quick look around the corner reveals it's just there, floating behind this rock. A point-blank range shot gives us a very inconvenient miss from safety zone, and now we're going to be punished because we don't really have another way to shoot at it this turn, and obviously it can just come around the corner and shoot like 20 times at point-blank range at us and probably get a kill. I'm being a little bit trolled again by line of sight because while this thing looks like it can be seen around the edge of the rock, it does count as being completely concealed by the rock where it is, so we can't shoot at it from a down and left sort of position. All I could really do is form up in front of it with a shield person closest to the drone in the hope that it will shoot the shield and not shoot our team, or that our team will do reaction fire as it comes around the edge of the rock and thus avoid us being shot at. The first option was the one that actually happened there, so that was okay. We're suppressed and the shield is basically destroyed, but no actual damage. The very dangerous situation there has been avoided. Now we need to fight back and kill this thing. It's in a decent enough position. Pumpy Parker can come over here and try to get a shot around these bushes at point blank range. We get a hit, but it doesn't bring the thing down. So next up I tried McScope, who also missed with a close range shot. Now I was getting a bit frustrated. I thought we're going to have to try the stick. I figured the stun stick didn't necessarily work on robotic type enemies. It appears to do damage. That little blue damage number there is against some invisible stun points meter. But as we saw, we didn't do enough to bring it down. Now though, Safety Zone redeems herself by coming around the corner and taking a shot, bringing the drone down. After that I moved across the map looking for more hostiles, discovering none, but discovering the alien UFO. I form up in front of the door and, as usual, we'll try and open the door from a distance to lower the risk of getting close. It takes 2 bursts to bring down this door. Maybe the Corvette has a stronger door than the previous UFOs. On the inside, just an empty, dark corridor of death. No aliens to be seen. So I began stacking our troops up on either side of the door, ready to think about an assault. But after I did, an alien shot at me from off somewhere to the left. It missed, luckily. But we had our backs turned, so that was a chance for it to just walk up behind us and blast us at real close range. Since it didn't, it is going to be somewhat easy for us to attack because it's standing out in the open and happens to be in the line of sight of our sniper. He takes a couple of shots, doing some damage but not enough, and then it was also in range or in line of sight of G-Mobile, so he just about summons the energy to turn, starts shooting, and there we go, we bring that alien down. That could have been a disaster, that little rear attack, but it seems like we got away with it. Now, nothing was coming through this corridor, so I was forced to go and take a look inside the UFO. Miet's shield discovers that there's an alien on the left, just inside the doorway. I planned to use the shield and shotgun tactic, as usual, to get close to it, but it doesn't work. There's another alien just on the right of the door who kills Target, our shield bearer there, and that sucks. I'm going to fall back now in the hope that that little engagement will have kited the enemy to come out of the UFO. I've actually got McScope on a building nearby with great line of sight on the door, so if the enemy could come outside, we'd be able to get more firepower on them. But they don't, long story short, so here we are a few turns later, while I'm forced to just try and go into the corridor again. We take shots from something that we can't even see, onto Pumpy Parker, and I move him up to try and look into the room, and he still can't see anything. There must be something right there. So finally I come around the corner and there is something right there. The tile he was standing on was illuminated, as if we had line of sight on it, but we actually didn't, so I'm not sure what was going on there. 2 shots at point blank range bring the robot down, and he's able to actually run away again, so somewhat safe in the end that maneuver was. I was worried that the aliens might just come around the corner and shoot our team with burst fire and kill them all as they're standing here, so I tried some smoke to hopefully obscure the line of sight against such an attack. It doesn't work. As you can see, we still get shot by something, and again, we can't see what it is, but I figured it must be something that's right next to us. It's just around the corner, and indeed, one of the aliens is standing there. They're called androns, I think, these things, by the way. And it turns out there's not 1, but 3 of them in the room, 1 to our left flank and 2 on the right. With that, I just noped out of there. I came to sit outside the UFO and hoped that maybe 1 would come into our line of sight. Eventually 1 did. We could see it down the corridor, but a graphics glitch is now not helping us out. Normally you can see into the UFO even when your team isn't inside it. You can see down the corridor, as we saw earlier in the mission, but right now it's only showing us the roof. Normally you can scroll the mouse wheel to change the height of the camera effectively and see at different height levels, but even when scrolling down to the lowest one, we can't see under the roof. Fortunately, we can still click on the enemies that are there, we just can't really see the situation. We do kill it though, since it goes out of our line of sight after this shooting, and we can hear the sound effect of it dying. So that's good. Now I'm just going to continue to end turns and wait for something else to come into our line of sight. Finally, something does. We can't really see what's going on, but Pumpy Parker can. He takes some shots and gets some good damage. No return fire comes out. So now we'll just try and get someone else to shoot at the invisible target. I was checking our various options, and turns out that J-Mobile can actually see through the bit of the wall he's behind somehow. And there we go, we get the shot. It's very XCOM style in the way that line of sight is somewhat arbitrarily invented. Anyway, so that was that, and now I know there's only 1 more alien in the room, or at least I can suspect there's 1 more alien. And I thought what I may be able to do is run forward and pick up the shield that Tara Get dropped in order to make going into the room a bit safer. This turns out not to really be the case, because Miet's shield doesn't have enough inventory room to put everything else in her backpack in order to pick up the shield, so I just gave up because the shield's basically dead anyway. It won't really make a difference. And after considering going for a quick assault on the Andron, I ended up just hanging out in the corridor for a bit until the next turn so I could have more time units. Then I went inside, the Androns moved a little bit, but we can still get a decent shot with Pumpy Parker. I'm not going to aim, since the chance of doing damage is higher if you take 2 unaimed shots versus 1 aimed shot, it appears, so just spraying and praying is the option, as we've learned so far, the best option, I should add. So there we go. That alien's down, but the mission doesn't end, so there is another one, and it's almost certainly just in that next room, meaning our team's now in danger, since he can just come through the door at any time. I form up on our side of the UFO, and finally we see the Andron walking about right at the back. There's not much we can do against it from where it is, because there's too much junk in the way. We can't get a line of sight. So I had to just wait and try and hope something better would emerge. Here, Safety Zone has sort of line of sight. The enemy's partially covered by a thing, but I thought let's just take our chances. Took some shots, but didn't get any damage. Only 1 of the shots made it past the obstacle. Then the Andron moves over and gets a shot like that, sort of through the door, and I think that particular angle counts as Safety Zone not being in cover, so she dies. That's the sort of angle that in regular XCOM would be considered cover, because you have to really outflank something for the cover to be totally useless. Anyway, I was now sure there was only 1 alien left, so I was able to go for a charging attack, just sending everyone in to do all the damage we can. Pumpy Parker can't bring this thing down, unfortunately. Next up is up to Miet Shield, who can sneak around the corner with her pistol. I couldn't fire it at first, because it seems that while you have the medpack equipped, you can't use your weapon, even if they're in separate hands. But anyway, putting the medpack in the bag allows me to then shoot the enemy, and a couple of shots brings it down. That's the end of the mission, and the really good news is that Safety Zone actually didn't die. She comes back to life at the end, so that's not so bad. Made me feel a lot happier about how that mission ended. I was previously really annoyed that Safety Zone had died in a situation where it seemed like it would be possible to get through without a casualty. Anyway, so 1 casualty overall, not too bad for a night mission against a set of aliens that's clearly meant to be engaged with the next tier of equipment, so overall, I think that went just about as well as we could have expected. After the mission, I'm right back on the recruitment screen because we need replacements, and we're probably going to need lots more replacements in the future, so I'm just going to scout out a few people who seem like they're decent for various roles. After that, we get a special mission. An alien terror attack is taking place over in Central America, and I suppose this is a priority for us to go and deal with. Since Charlie 1 is probably best suited to going on a special mission like this, I'm going to redirect them from their current task of investigating the scout UFO. I thought maybe Charlie 2 can just go right over and attack the scout UFO, but the issue with that plan is that Charlie 2 only has 6 members right now, so it wouldn't be the best idea. Charlie 1 gets on their way, and for Charlie 2, I'm going to have to send them back to base to pick up a couple of replacements. I've got more operatives available who I can use to fill out the squad, but it just needs to go and land for a few minutes to get our people in, and then we'll go on the operation against the scout. So that was the plan. Does mean there's a risk here that the scout will disappear. I'm not sure how long they stay there for. Maybe it's 24 hours, but we'll just do that the safe way. Don't want to risk it since there's no particular purpose in attacking a scout. We also take down a Corvette over the sea, and I wasn't going to bother tailing it over land. We'll just take it out and skip the mission, since we don't really have a team that would be able to take care of that mission right now, even if we were able to get it. So that's that. Charlie 2 makes it back to Hammersickle. I put a couple more people in the chopper, and they head out as well, but of course Charlie 1 will be reaching the terror site first, so we'll be doing that very special mission in the next part.